Good afternoon, South High School. This is Mr. Formalo, Associate Principal here at South High School. Wanted to take some time over the next couple of homerooms to work on the process of conflict resolution. So today in your homerooms, you're going to get quite a bit of information. In your Skyward portfolios, you'll be able to see your electronic schedule for second semester. I sent you an email, so just know to click on semester 2 for your document to open it to see the colored version of your schedule, which will help you with this process and looking for where your conflicts might lie. In addition to that, you've also received a conflict resolution letter that will look something like this, that is going to show you the courses that have conflict and the mods for which they meet. Not necessarily where the conflicts are, but the courses that do overlap. You will also get a copy of a conflict resolution worksheet. This is just a abbreviation of it. There'll be about 6 boxes for you to use, and hopefully you won't have to use too many sheets for monitoring or getting the information you need for your conflicts. So this process for the next day or two is to really work on using your schedule, the conflict letter, and the conflict worksheet to document where all of your conflicts are, so that when we get to Thursday and on into even the end of the first week of the semester, you'll have the most accurate information to fill out your formal conflict resolution form, which will be a carbon document that we can keep copies of, one for you, one for each teacher, and one for the office. So with that being said, the process for and some reminders for conflict resolution. Of course, we always want this to be a peaceful conflict resolution process. And the most important thing is that we need to know is when you're looking at your conflict letter, wherever you might see 2 classes that overlap, if it only involves one conflict for the week, you do not worry about that conflict. Where you do have to work on a conflict resolution is where you have 2 or more mods or greater of conflict. And just a reminder from last year and this past semester that we have multiple options for you and your teachers to work towards for an agreement. Option 1 is student choice, where your teachers are going to trust you regardless of number of mods in conflict that you are going to be where you need to be. That is most important to you being successful in whichever class may have something going on that day. The other option is for teachers to ignore the conflict without any other expectation. They understand that you're going to do your best with keeping up to date with things that you might miss through Haiku or Google Classroom, and that they would rather see you getting to that other class and will allow you to do that, of course, if you continue to maintain a good academic standing in that class. There's opportunities for alternating from week to week, so one class could be odd weeks, one class could be even weeks, and there's options to split the conflict. So if you have a 2-mod conflict, you may stay in class for an extra mod of that conflict, but then get to the other class for the other mod. However that might work out in terms of splitting the total conflict. Other opportunities are for teachers to ignore the conflict, but have you then back schedule the number of mods you've missed with your teacher into resource or maybe in their classroom during other times of their day. There will be times though where there might just be too much conflict in your schedule based on behavior, grades, or other concerns. So we do need to be respectful and make sure we're seeking out alternates with your counselors as that may arise throughout this process. So just quickly as we're looking at the conflict letter, as you can see here we have it listed by day. Don't regard so much on the number that you see next to the letter. That is just indicating a way to sort it better for me. But M for Monday, R is for Thursday. So this individual student has a conflict with advanced algebra and physical education mod 21. Now I see that physical education has another conflict down here, but it is the only conflict for advanced algebra. So this would be an instance where you could quite possibly ignore that conflict unless you have some other agreement that comes up with your physical education conflict. So as you're looking at this, what we need you to do is to transfer the information that you see here. I highlighted it just for you to be able to see. I was able to pinpoint all the mods that are of overlap for the 2 classes, and that's what you would transfer to your conflict worksheet. You'll list the 2 classes. The teacher's name you will be able to get from your schedule, your electronic schedule, so you'll be able to pinpoint that conflict and get the 2 teachers' names from your schedule. And then you'd be able to list the mods of conflict, the day of the conflict, so that when it gets to your teachers or when you get ready to fill out the other form, all this information is there for you. Starting Thursday, this is when we'll provide you with the more formal 4-page documents that will give copies to everybody that's involved, where we will transfer that information. Your homeroom teachers will collect them at the end of the day on Thursday and or Friday, so that we can then, as a staff, look at some of the conflicts and maybe make some decisions for you, especially in cases where many of you might share the same conflict between two classes or two teachers, so that we can work that out. So just those general reminders that we really do want this to be a peaceful conflict resolution. One of the great things about what we've been able to do with FlexMod is not make you make choices so much. We've reduced that drastically so that the classes that you have picked in your schedule are the classes that you've wanted. And we really are trying to honor that, but a lot of that comes down to you demonstrating your responsibility as a student to manage that conflict in a way that doesn't put extra burden onto your teachers to continuously try to help you. So make sure you're doing your part with that resolution. So just to kind of wrap it up, just remember that with conflict, it is respectful for us, and we need to respect the right to disagree. We need to express our real concerns about what a conflict may be from teacher to student or student to teacher. Share a common goal and interest. Try to look at it from different points of view, and of course listen carefully to all the proposed ideas, because in that discourse or that discussion you might come up with a really good plan on how to keep that class still in your schedule. So understand the major issues involved. Think about probable consequences for the conflict you're choosing to take responsibility for. Think outside of the box with alternate solutions, and of course be willing to compromise on the conflict that's in play and negotiate in a cooperative way so that we have an agreement that everyone can deal with, not just one-sided from this is what I want without hearing out the other person. So if you have any questions or concerns about the process of conflict resolution, please see me or see your school counselor with scheduling questions. Otherwise, let's make it a great last week and a half and have a smooth transition to the second semester. Thank you for your time.